Hello, New York Giants fans, and welcome to Valentine's Views here on the Big Blue View YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. You guys know that your New York Giants are celebrating their 100th season of NFL competition. Throwback uniforms, whole lot of activities and events throughout the season. And here to help me discuss some of those events is David Dominik, Giants Vice President of Digital Strategy. David, thank you so much for a few minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
So I just wanted to start by, I've seen the throwback uniforms. I love them. We'll talk about the reaction to them at some point, but I've seen the list of everything that you guys are doing. You guys have knocked this out of the park, and I just wanted to congratulate you guys as a staff on everything that you guys have put together around this.
Yeah, listen, it's been a labor of love. It's been a process over probably close to 3 years now that we started this 100th season planning, all the different activations and everything that we're rolling out. We've launched some of it. There's still a lot of stuff that we're still excited to roll out to everybody. And it's been a fully collaborative effort across the entire organization, every different department working together. So we're really excited about what we've put out so far, and then there's a lot more to come.
Wow, 3 years you guys have been working on this?
Yeah, over 2 years at least. And it's been exciting. It's between the logo, between the uniforms, all these different events and historical stuff. There's books, there's theme nights, giveaways, some stuff we've announced. Again, like I said, some stuff we haven't even done, made public yet. Really cool community touch points that we're doing around the area. And, I think, listen, you only get one chance to do it right. You only turn 100 one time. So we want to make sure that we didn't miss a beat. And again, we're really excited to show everybody what we've been working on.
All right, we'll get into the different pieces of the Century Red uniform here in a minute. We'll talk about the significance of the red and the different pieces of the uniform, to Giants history. But I have to start with this. Anytime you put out a uniform, an alternate uniform, a throwback uniform, anything like that, there's going to be mixed reaction. And I know, some people hate the throwback uniform. I love it. I mean, I did a poll on our site when you guys put the uniform out. 34% of our voters thought it was awful. 22% said they didn't care as long as the team wins games, and 44% thought it was awesome. I mean, what did you guys? I'm curious how you guys as an organization, how you guys as a group, considering all the work you put into it, how you guys reacted to the reaction.
Well, to your point, I think that we definitely saw the mixed reactions. And I think that you got a little bit of maybe a vocal group of people that were certainly negative, but I don't know if that was 100% representative of the entire fan base, because we've seen a mixed reaction, right? We've seen people that love it and people that were disappointed by it. I think internally, and we've been working on this uniform for over 2 years with the NFL and going through different development options and the different eras of Giants history, all early history, but the different teams that we wanted to honor. Everybody inside the organization, including the players that saw it, really were excited about it. And then when the rollout came, we definitely saw the mixed reactions. I think that, if we were going to design a new uniform from scratch, that probably wouldn't be the direction we would take. It would be a more modern take that kind of fit into today's aesthetics. But this was our way of honoring some of these really, really early players that were really gritty and dirty and, played this game for, no money and no glory. And it was just kind of the very, very beginnings of our franchise. I think when you roll out an alternate, when you roll out a throwback uniform, and we've done this very recently with our legacy set, which is kind of the 80s and 90s uniform, there's a nostalgia factor, right? This is the uniforms that people remember from 30 years ago. Maybe they were kids or whatever it was. And it's a uniform that we won championships in. and you're drawn to that uniform because you remember it. This uniform, or the elements of this uniform, is 100 years old, right? Nobody is alive that's seen this uniform in action. So you didn't get that. You didn't. Oh yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. You didn't get that aspect of it. But our goal was to go out and really honor the early days of our franchise, and I think we did a good job of that. I think that the people that have seen the uniform in person really like it. And listen, if it's not for everybody, that's okay. But this was our way of honoring those early players. I think once we put it on the field, and I've seen some of the reaction, people it's grown on people a little bit. And I think once people see it in action on the field, I think, hopefully we can kind of sell people on it a little bit better. But, to answer your question, our reaction to the reaction was, we're proud of it. Inside the building, people really like it. There's certain elements that I think some people say, I really, really like the jersey, but the pants aren't for me, whatever it might be. But hopefully you find a piece of it that you're excited about. And then we take it from there.
Beat the Vikings in week 1 and nobody will want you to take the uniform off.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Before we get into the different pieces of the uniform and move on, you mentioned the idea of, redesigning a uniform, a future uniform, and we're not going to get into, whether that might be on the agenda down the road somewhere, but I'm going to pound the table and make 2 demands when that comes. I want Giants on the side of the helmet. Forget the little lowercase ny. I've never been a fan. And I want white pants. The gray has to go. The gray just has to go.
Well, the white pants we have. We only have white pants. Yeah. Right. White pants are part of our home and road uniforms now. And are the Color Rush and the Legacy, they all have white pants. And yeah, no, I hear you. I think a lot of the fan base agrees with you. I think everyone seems to like the Giants on the helmet. There was a really good reaction to when we brought that back. So definitely we'll take that note. Take that note back.
There you go. Write that down. Send that to John Mara. Hey, I wanted to ask you, let's talk about the uniforms a little bit more. They're called Century Red. Mm-hmm. And I know that the red, back a few years ago, you guys got rid of the red alternate jerseys and that obviously mixed reaction, but I didn't realize the significance. This is one of those things you kind of mentioned, people not really knowing the history. I didn't realize the significance of red to the franchise. Maybe you can just talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, again, this is going back 100 years and people probably don't remember. And if they have seen the footage, it's all black and white. Well, we were red before we were blue. We had a lot of red in our uniform. There were plenty of jerseys that were all red. But this particular jersey that we rolled out was originally worn in 1933. It's got a really cool mix of red and blue. It was probably one of our first iterations that had the blue, and we started to ease our way into becoming big blue. But it was worn in 1933. It was worn in the first NFL championship game ever that we played the Bears. We didn't win the game, but that was a significant season in Giants history. So that's kind of the reason why we went in that direction with the jersey.
And the helmet and the pants socks combination are also tied to specific years or specific eras, correct?
So the pants and socks go back to our very first season, 1925. We won our first championship in 1927, and then the helmet is we started wearing it in 1938, and we wore it for about a decade. Originally, back in those days, they had the leather helmet, and you couldn't really paint a logo on the side, but you can kind of color the panels of the leather helmet, and that's where those wingtip comes from, that Michigan's famous for, that design that now you see translated onto, a modern helmet. But that's where that pattern comes from originally from 1938, which we won a championship in 1938. So that kind of honors that team.
And the logo design that you guys came up with also honors a whole bunch of different eras.
The logo was great because that was one of the first things that we did when we started planning. Again, like I said, 2.5 years ago for the 100th season, we said everything's got to be tied to this logo. We got our designers in a room. The first thing we decided was the logo cannot be the word Giants with a big 100 behind it. Like, we got to really figure out how we can tell the story of 100 seasons in a compact, tight, logo. We put down all the different elements that we wanted to explain. There was a lot of really cool things that sort of by happenstance came together to really make a cool design. The shape of the Polo Grounds, which was our first stadium, played there for the first 30 years, has this really interesting sort of shield shape to it. And that was just a really cool starting point. We said, all right, let's build around this really interesting shield shape that the Polo Grounds had. We knew we wanted to honor Wellington Mara. So the Duke football that the NFL plays in is named after Wellington Mara. So we wanted to incorporate the football. We wanted to honor all 8 of our championships. So we have 8 laces on the football to honor 8 championships. One of our original logos, this actual New York Giant guy, this actual New York Giant player that's sort of towering over skyscrapers. And we've had a few different iterations of that guy. We wanted to incorporate him into the logo. We designed this really cool numeral font that's sort of the 1 is based off our NY logo that I know you love. And then the zeros in the 100 are the exact shape of Giant Stadium. So if you look at this logo, listen, you look at it from a distance, it's a really cool shield with a big 100 and it makes sense. But when you start to drill down into the specific design elements of the logo and really see how the logo tells the story of Giants history, we're definitely proud of that. And you're going to see it plastered across all Giants stuff for the next season. We're really excited about how that came together.
Cool. So let's, David, let's talk a little bit about some of the other events and some of the other things that you guys are doing that are tied to the 100th season celebration. So that folks know, we are recording on Tuesday afternoon. This show will be live on our channel on Wednesday morning. You guys have the 100 Seasons event. I think it's at Madison Square Garden on Thursday.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit about that, and I'm not sure at this point if there's still any availability for folks who want to go.
Yeah, Giants 100, A Night with Legends. It's going to be at the theater at Madison Square Garden on Thursday night. We have very very limited tickets available while we're recording this. I don't know if there will be by the time it airs. But if you go to giants.com/100, you can see what availability there is. But yeah, it's a really cool event. It's been, again, a year in the making. We're bringing back a lot of legends over several different eras from Giants history, and coaches. We have Bill Parcells and Tom Coughlin confirmed to appear together. Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor, Eli Manning, Victor Cruz. I can go on and on the list of just not just legendary players, but also legendary moments that are going to be discussed and talked about. We also have a preview of the 2024 season. Coach Dable and Joe Shane and some current players are going to be there. Ownership's going to be there to kind of explain how the whole 100 season celebration came together. Bob Papa and Sean O'Hara and Peter Schrager are going to be hosting. Brandon London are going to be hosting it. And it's going to be a really cool event for really the diehard Giants fans and their families that have kind of been following this team throughout the however many decades or generations they've been following. And it's going to be great. It's just all panel discussions. We're going to be rolling out a few surprises while we're there. I don't want to reveal too much, but it's going to be a special night for everybody. There's also going to be some really cool displays before you enter. Memorabilia and Hall of Fame things that we have that people can check out. Some really cool artwork that our design team put together. So a very, very cool immersive experience that people are going to be excited about.
Very cool. And that is one of the things about Giants fandom, is that it seems to be passed down from generation to generation. So I'm sure there's a lot of different generations of Giants fans who will appreciate Thursday night.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Yeah. In my opinion, the Giants fans are the most passionate in this area. Our season ticket holders, a lot of them have been around for several generations. So yeah, I think exactly what you said. I think it's going to be a really cool experience for people that have been following this team for so many years.
And one of the other events that you guys have going on is you're revealing what you guys have come up with as the top 100 players in franchise history. Had Gary Myers on the show a couple of weeks ago, and Gary, gave us a little bit of insight into the process. Just tell us what the process was, and who made the choices, and how that all came about, and how exactly you're going to roll it out.
So we put together is an independent panel of like you mentioned, some journalists that have covered the team, broadcasters, some fans, football, the Ernie Corsi's and people like that, football, experts. Bob Papa chaired the committee, and they about 20 names, and they got together and voted, they voted on the top 100 players in Giants history. They're ranked 1 through 100. We're going to be rolling them out 10 at a time throughout the summer, in reverse order, right? Counting down to the top. We're going to do 10 at a time once a week. And during week 1 of the regular season, we're going to roll out the top 10 Giants of all time. And we have a really cool video podcast series that's going to go out with the announcement, and a really cool website and app landing page where people can read about the players. And also in September, we're also going to roll out a book that we put together called The People, the Moments, the Traditions, New York Giants, The People, the Moments, the Traditions. And that's going to have all really cool information, not just about the top 100 players, but also some really cool historical stuff about the team as well. So the rollout's going to be exciting. And I think it's going to create a little bit of excitement and a little bit of debate. And, as we kind of count down and people kind of see where their favorite players ranked. And I think the panel did a really good job. It's not just the past 30, 40, 50 years. It's 100 years. So there's a lot of players from the very early days on here. There's obviously players from the Super Bowl eras and, in the 50s, the Yankee Stadium eras. So I think people are going to be really excited to see how that comes together.
Yeah, there's always recency bias in those kinds of things, just because so many people didn't see the players from so long ago.
You're right to an extent, but I think everyone's going to be impressed by the historical, the expertise that these guys did, the research they did, and the knowledge that they have. Because there are definitely people from the very early days that made the list that are very deserving, and I think it's going to be a good educational lesson for even the most diehard Giants fans to see some of these players from the 20s, 30s, and 40s that made the list that maybe they don't, they're going to learn about as we reveal them.
And you're not going to spill the top 10 for me?
No. I'm not going to reveal the top 10. I think.
Of course not. Of course not. I'm just, I'm kidding about that. But when does the rollout of that start?
So the first batch is going to be revealed on July 9th, and then we're going to reveal them every week throughout the summer. And then September 3rd, which is the Tuesday of our opening week, we'll reveal the top 10.
It's interesting. We did, back in the very early days of Big Blue View, we did a top 100 or a Giants, all-time team. And I'm going to be very curious to see how what we did, again, this was, close to 15 years ago now, but yeah. I'm still going to be curious to see how what we did. We had readers vote on this team, and I'm going to be curious to see how what we did compares to what you guys come up with.
We'll come back in September and compare. And
there you go. I don't think we have time, but I would love to sort of re-vote that poll. I don't think we have time before you guys start rolling yours out. I'd kind of love to re-vote that whole thing, sure. but I don't think we have time to do that. I know that, some of the guys that have played, in the Manning era, that's going to change some of what we did. But I'm kind of really looking forward to seeing how our list compares to what you guys did. You guys have, you said week 1, you're using the throwback jerseys. Week 1 of the season against the Vikings, you've got a lot of things going on. Why the choice to wear those uniforms week 1? Maybe tell folks a little bit about what you've got going on and what else might be coming up through the season.
the choice to wear in week one was decided early on. That's going to be sort of our 100th season celebration weekend. So the whole weekend is going to be kind of dedicated to celebrating. We have a fan fest on Friday where everyone's going to come to the stadium, and fans are welcome to experience some really cool, not just fan-friendly activities, but also sort of educational activities to learn more about Giants history. We have a 5K event on Saturday and then the game on Sunday. So we had, and again, you never know, the NFL makes a schedule. We had hoped that we would have a home game that first week one, so that we can really kind of capture that entire weekend to celebrate our 100 seasons. And then, again, we haven't rolled out too much information about that yet, but we are going to be celebrating our 100th season officially sort of at that home opener. We're going to be wearing the Century Red uniforms and a couple other surprises there. And so it's just, why that week? I think, there's no better way to kick off our 100th season than celebrating all 100 seasons, at kickoff. So that's kind of where it rolled out. And I would just tell everyone just to stay, following our social channels and Giants.com to kind of see what other fan engagement activities are going to be coming, not just for that first game, but throughout the season. A lot of really cool giveaways and game day thematics and things that are going to be coming. But we haven't announced all of them yet, but they're going to be excited once we find out.
Cool. Any possibility that those uniforms will be used more than once? I think I saw that they were only intended to be used one time.
When we announced the uniforms, we announced that they could be worn up to 2 times this season. The NFL, just candidly, the NFL only allows you to wear an alternate uniform up to 3 times. And we're going to be wearing our legacy uniform also this year. So for right now, we've announced that the Century Red uniforms could be worn up to 2 times, but we've only announced that we're going to be wearing them on opening week for now.
Cool. Hey, David, last thing before I let you go. The Giants, who have resisted Hard Knocks for a very, very long time, took part in the first ever, off-season Hard Knocks, maybe what you might call Hard Knocks light, because it's not the full training camp experience. It's an off-season experience. There's maybe not as much player involvement. I'm just curious, and it's kind of a 2-pronged thing. What was it like around the building? How different was it? How intrusive was it? And the other part of that is, from the marketing perspective, is can you guys capitalize on it at all?
It's been, listen, NFL Films has been here for a few months. I think the intrusive question is probably better for the football ops and coaching staff more so. I don't know if the business side, if it impacted their day-to-day too much. They weren't filming us as much as they were, I don't think we're as interesting as they are. But listen, that took a lot of buy-in from ownership and from Joe Shane's staff and Brian Daboll's staff. They were open. They were willing to kind of give everybody a peek behind the curtain through the combine and the draft room and the whole free agency process. They got a lot of good insight and information. A lot of good stuff's caught on film. I think that, you're right. It's something that we kind of have been as an organization resistant to. But, in honor of our 100th season, we thought now would be the time to really kind of give everyone all that really cool access. And it's something, listen, you're right that it's not the training camp, but it's also something that hasn't been done before. This is the first time that the Hard Knocks has done like an off-season series. So we're excited to be a part of it. And I think it's going to be great. I think that, they've had cameras in the draft room. They've had cameras in the covering the entire football side of the organization and that side of the building for several months. And there's going to be a lot of good stuff. So that starts July 2nd. I've seen some of it, but I haven't really seen a ton of the footage. They're keeping it pretty secure. So I'm excited to see what they came up with also. We've done a lot of it in the past. We've done Giants Life, and we've done a lot of series where this whole coaching staff and football ops staff has been very welcome to kind of just being transparent in the entire process. And we've put a lot of that stuff out on our platforms. And this dives kind of even deeper than we've done in the past.
Yeah, somehow I can't imagine Tom Coughlin being happy with being happy with that.
It's a different era. Although he was with we've done stuff with him too when he was here. But yeah, it's a different era, and I think it's great for fans to get that full transparency of the entire process, especially this off season, which had a lot of interesting free agency moves and draft moves, and a lot of really cool stuff happened. So I think people are going to be excited to see what went on.
Absolutely. Hey, David, before I let you go, I think you mentioned it already, but just, let folks know, where they can follow 100th season events and information and all that as things get rolled out.
Giants.com/100. If you go to that site, it has literally everything that we have planned, that we've announced so far, and it's going to constantly be updated throughout the season as we kind of roll more stuff out. I would definitely follow all our Giants social channels, at Giants on Twitter, at NY Giants on Instagram, and New York Giants on Facebook, and download the Giants mobile app, and just really all the Giants O&O platforms. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to constantly push forward. And listen, I think this has been such a labor of love over the past couple of years by everybody in this organization, literally from the very, very top down. As everybody knows, we're a family organization for 100 seasons. The Mara and the Tisch family have been really, on board and involved in this process. And, I think, the fans are really, really, really going to be excited once they see everything kind of all come together.
Awesome. David, I really, really appreciate your spending some time and giving us some insights into how this all came about.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Giants fans, thank you as always for listening. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.